To ensure that any statements
Hello.
will be made.
Hello. Hope you can hear me.
Hope
you can hear this.
We start.
So a bit dark today.
Paula Hamilton.
Right, we're going to start with a
Paula
question. Okay. Of course, it's question time. It is Wednesday, the 7th of... No, the 8th. No, the 7th of September.
I'm honoured to take my place as Prime Minister in this House.
This lemon
and to take on
duly
responsibility at a vital
appointed
time for our country.
leader of
I'm
the United Kingdom, of Great
determined to
Britain and Northern
deliver
Ireland.
for everybody
Absolute lemon
across
was
our
put in
United
place
Kingdom.
by
I
88,000
will
people.
work constructively
88,000 people,
with
not even
all members of this
0.1%
House
of the
to
population.
tackle the challenges we face. Mr.
Anyway,
Speaker,
she's talking.
this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings.
If you were hoping
later
for,
today.
like, you know, more sort of erudite comment on this, then, you know, this isn't the place to come.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I warmly welcome the Prime Minister to her place? It's her first PMQ, and it's also mine. In a leaked audio tape, the Prime Minister is heard saying that British workers need to put in more graft, and that they are lacking in skill and application. She also wants to take away their basic workers' rights.
Yes.
In my Erdington constituency, the latest figures from the Commons Library show that children over 7,000
Smash the like button.
are living in child poverty, and that 68% of those households have working parents.
Yeah.
So does the Prime Minister believe that thousands of working parents on low income in my community should just put in more graft?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look how she does. Come on. Let's not judge. Let's not be too early to judge this absolute fuck nugget. Oh God, she's so stupid.
What I am determined
painful.
to do as Prime Minister
your stupidity
is to make
is
sure
painful
we have an
to me.
economy with high
Best line I've heard
wages
about her.
and high-skilled
She's
jobs.
so dense. She has her own event horizon.
Reducing taxes
Go
on
on.
people
Reducing taxes for the rich. Tax cuts for the rich. Tax cuts for the rich. This is all she's got. This is the only thing she's got. Tax cuts for the rich. You thought she was just saying that to get elected? She means it.
Congratulate
Fucking hell, centuries of inbreeding. Christ, this is why the Targaryens go mad. Fucking state of this.
They were struggling show that they would be paying a 600%
Afternoon, and we all looking forward to the shit show, says the lefty boater.
They can't survive that.
Not looking forward to it at all, mate. Cabinet of cronies, says Chatty Rat. You're absolutely right.
In the hospitality
Good to have you back. It's a Dirty Jokes fan. I have a dirty joke for you.
Well, my right honourable friend is absolutely right. The hospitality industry is vital, and I will make sure help support.
Anyway, I'm not swearing enough. Look at this fucking cunt.
Oh
my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. She can't even answer a question from her own side. Softball question.
Will help businesses.
Would you consider a reach around?
We now come to the leader of the opposition.
What's that to say? Arsehole. Right, let's get it started. Let's get this party started.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I congratulate the
No,
Prime Minister?
don't congratulate her. No, you can't. No, just call her a cunt because she's a cunt.
When she said in her leadership campaign that she was against windfall taxes,
yes.
Did she mean it?
Yeah. I don't believe in them.
Well,
even though I'm going to have to massive U-turn.
Right honourable gentleman for his welcome. I hope
she's our Prime Minister. Oh my God, she's a fucking idiot. She's an idiot as Prime Minister. A simpleton as Prime Minister. 100 years ago, she would be put in an asylum. She'd genuinely be put in a home for people who were of below average intelligence, to put it mildly. Political correctness gone mad, this is. The fact that she's Prime Minister.
A windfall tax.
I'm against the windfall tax.
It is the wrong thing.
Yeah, of course you are.
Because,
you know, energy companies are going to make £170 billion of profit. Not million, billion pounds of profit, and she objects to taxing them.
I ask because the Treasury estimates are that the energy producers will make 170 billion pounds.
I say it here, it comes out there.
2 years. The Prime Minister knows she's no choice
I could do this.
but to back an energy
Alexis, thank you very much for the super chat.
But
Thank
it won't
you.
be cheap.
Love you. You're
And
awesome.
The real choice, the political choice, is who is going to pay. Is she really telling us
Yes,
that
she
she's
is.
going to leave these vast excess profits on
Yes.
the table
Yes.
and make working people foot the bill
Yes.
for decades to come?
Yes, that's exactly what she's saying. Because she's a cunt.
Well, I
She's a
understand
cunty,
that
cunt,
people
cunt,
across our country
cunt.
are struggling with the cost of living. and they're
I'm
struggling
trying
with
to
their
Margaret
energy bills.
Thatcher. My
And that
voice
is
has
why
got all
I,
weird.
as Prime Minister, will take immediate action to
Oh,
help people
God,
with the
she's
cost of their
tedious.
energy bills.
Oh,
And
I'm
I will
bored
make
of it. It's only been 5
announcements
minutes. I'm bored to
this
shit
House
of this
on
nonsense.
that tomorrow. Giving
And
people
what we're going to
certainty
do is,
make sure that they are able
look
to
at her
get
eyes
through this
moving. She's
winter
trying to think of
and
what to say
be able
next.
to
Oh my
have
God.
the energy supplies and be able
Like
to
each
afford
word
it.
comes out
But
one
we
by
can't
one.
just deal
It's
with
like artificial
today's
intelligence,
problem.
isn't it?
We can't just put a sticking plaster on it. What we need to
What
do
we
is
need
increase
to
our
do
energy
is-
supplies long term. And that is why we will open up
We
more
need to
supply
increase
in the
our
North
energy
Sea,
supplies.
which the Honourable
No,
Gentleman has
we need to
opposed.
get the price down, you fucking merkin. What the fuck is wrong with you? You fucking lump of mad flesh. Get the... What? We don't... It's not a problem that we don't have enough gas. We only get a tiny fraction of it from
I
Russia.
look forward to tomorrow's statement, but
We need to get the
money's got to
price
come from
down.
and
Stupid
she
tit.
knows
Fucking
that
arsehole.
every single pound in excess profits she chooses not to tax
Yeah.
is an extra pound on borrowing that working people will be forced to
Yeah.
pay back for decades to come.
Yeah.
More borrowing
More
than
borrowing.
is
Put it on the
needed.
nation's credit card.
That's the true cost.
Like a fucking
of her
gambler.
choice
Like an
to protect
addicted
oil and gas
gambler.
profits, isn't it?
That's what she is. Chronic fucking gambling
Mr.
syndrome.
Speaker,
With
the
our money.
reality is that
Was
this
her own
country
money, I wouldn't give a
will
fuck.
not be able to tax
Our
its way
fucking money.
to growth.
What?
The way we will
What?
grow our
Growth.
economy
You're giving money
is
to
by
multinational
attracting
energy
investment,
companies that aren't
keeping
necessarily even
taxes
owned in the
lower,
UK, you
reforms to
stupid
build
bitch.
projects quicker.
Trying not
That
to
is the
use
way that
sexist
we will
language
create
here.
jobs and opportunities across
Stupid
our country.
fucking cock.
So, Mr. Speaker, her first act as Prime Minister is to borrow more than is needed because she won't touch excess oil and gas profits.
Yes.
On that topic, how much would her planned corporation tax cut hand out to companies?
Come on.
The Right Honourable Gentleman is looking at this in the wrong way. The last time
Okay.
we cut corporation tax,
Yeah.
we attracted more revenue into the exchequer because
More revenue?
companies
Give us some numbers.
wanted to
Give us
base
some
themselves
fucking
in Britain.
numbers.
More countries
Yeah, then Brexit
wanted
came
to
along, mate.
more
No one wants to
companies
invest
wanted
at the
to
moment
invest in
because
our
of fucking
country.
Brexit. You've made
And
it
if
really
taxes
difficult
are put
to
up
sell things that are
and
made
raised
here
to
anywhere
the same
else.
level as France, which is what the current proposal is, and which I will change as Prime Minister,
Yeah.
that will put off investors. It'll put off
okay.
those companies
go on.
investing in our
Keep talking.
economy.
Keep
and
talking, you
ultimately
fucking
that will
bubblehead.
mean fewer
Fucking
jobs,
airheaded
less
cunt.
growth, and less opportunities across our country.
She's getting rid of our position.
Mr. Speaker, it's
signatory to the
extraordinary
European
that not
Declaration
only
of
is the
Human
Prime
Rights.
Minister
This is what
refusing
this
to extend the
fucking
windfall
arsehole wants to
tax,
do. So
she's also
don't feel
choosing
bad
to hand the water
about
companies
enjoying me calling
polluting our
her a cunt, 'cause
beaches
she
a
really
tax
is a
cut.
shit all over the beaches, shit in the rivers, tax cuts to the super wealthy, tax cuts to the fucking corporations.
A tax cut. She's choosing to hand the banks a tax cut.
Yep.
Add it all together, and companies that are already doing well are getting a £17 billion tax cut. While
Wow.
working people pay for the cost of living crisis,
Yep.
stroke victims wait an hour for an ambulance, and criminals walk the streets with impunity.
Yeah.
Families
Criminals
and
walk
public
the streets with
services
impunity.
need
Can you believe this
every
world?
penny they can get.
Yeah.
How on earth does she think that now is the right time to protect Shell's profits and give Amazon a tax break?
Because she's a fucking idiot. She's a fool. She's a moron. She is a burly, literate, semi-evolved simian. You fucking chimp.
And that is why we will keep corporation tax low. Because ultimately, we want investment right across our country.
We need investment, so we have Brexit.
And new opportunities.
Foreign direct investment has gone off a cliff. Foreign direct investment since 2016 has decreased by up to 90%.
Orthodoxy. But
My
the
God,
reality is,
she's going to bring them back with a little tax
reheating
break.
George Osborne's failed corporation tax plan.
Yeah.
Protecting oil and gas profits,
lukewarm,
and forcing
bloody
working people
policies
to pay the bill.
when we're
She's the fourth
facing
Tory
a
Prime Minister
crisis.
in 6 years. The face at the top may change, but the story remains the same.
Tax cuts for the rich.
There is nothing new
Tax
about
increases
the Tory
for the
fantasy
poor.
of trickle-down economics. Nothing new about this Tory Prime Minister who nodded through every single decision that got us into this mess and now says how terrible it is.
Yes.
And can't she see there's nothing new about a Tory Prime Minister who, when asked who pays, says it's you, the working people of Britain.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing new about a Labour leader who is calling for more tax rises.
What? Taxing the rich, taxing the corporations, you stupid twat. You're talking about raising the tax for people.
It's the same old tax.
I know what you are, but what am I?
What I'm about is about reducing taxes, getting our economy growing,
Oh my
getting
God.
investment,
It's like a
getting
brain
new
and a
jobs
mouth
for
are just
people
not quite in
right
sync,
across the
and her
country.
eyes and
I'm afraid
God.
to say the right honourable
She's got this
gentleman
horrific
doesn't
troll sitting
understand
next to her, this fucking
aspiration.
Garbador
He doesn't
here.
understand.
A little fucking
He
garbage
doesn't
Pokemon.
understand that people want to keep more of their own money, and that is what
They keep
I
more of
will
their own money,
deliver
so you're gonna
as
make
Prime
you're gonna make
Minister.
people spend it all on their
I
fucking
will
energy
take
bill.
immediate
You're gonna what,
action
freeze at
to help
£3,000
people
a
with their
year?
energy
Oh, you're
bills,
so fucking
but also
generous.
secure our
Most people in this
long-term
country earn
energy
less than
supply. I will
£17,000
take
a year.
immediate action to make sure we have
Fucking
lower
arse.
taxes and we grow the economy, and that way
Almost
I
a
will
fifth of
ensure we have a
your
positive
entire
future
year's
for
earning
our
going on
country,
energy,
and we
she
get
thinks
Britain
that's
moving.
not taxing people. Fuck me
Thank you,
sideways.
Mr. Speaker, and firstly, can I congratulate my right honourable
God,
friend, the
this
Prime Minister,
twonk.
for a successful campaign to become our party leader and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
I've got a funky tie on.
Mr. Speaker, it is right and proper that the government focuses its
it right and
attention
proper?
on rising energy costs for households across the country.
Tell us.
But as we've heard, businesses big and small are exposed to horrific energy price increases,
Yeah,
with no
really?
restraint provided by the domestic energy price cap and no support
really
from
is a total
government so
vacuum.
far.
Completely
For the
agree.
sake of businesses in West Cornwall
She's running
and
on the
City,
old firmware,
the jobs they
tax
provide
and
and the
spaff.
economy as a whole.
It is.
What can my
That was her
friend,
last
the Right
response,
Honourable
wasn't
Prime
it? That was
Minister, do
the
to
thing
ease
that
energy
Boris
costs
Johnson used to really
facing
have
our
a dig
businesses?
at Keir Starmer in
Well,
his last answer,
my
and that
honourable
was her
friend
attempt
is
at
right.
that.
We do need to address the issues businesses face, and the package that we will be
fucking
announcing
creep.
tomorrow
Fucking
will do
cretin.
just that.
Leader of the SNP,
U-turn, Liz. Dizzy Lizzie. Thick Lizzie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure the thoughts
Rickler,
and
you
prayers
one, mate.
of everyone in this House will be with the families that were caught up in the terrible shooting over recess in Kyle and McCalsh and indeed in Liverpool as well, and we trust that the families will be fully supported. Mr. Speaker, let me congratulate the Prime Minister and her family on her appointment. But I'm sorry to say that
Poverty goes
her
up,
reputation
crime
for
goes
straight
up.
talking has falling apart at the first PMQs. After 9 questions,
Oh, thanks,
she's
Richard.
still not told us who will pay for her energy plan.
Yes.
Prime Minister, today the public are waiting to find out the response to the economic crisis, and they want answers. So, will the Prime Minister finally answer 2 very simple questions? Will she freeze energy prices at their current levels, and will it be paid for by a windfall tax? Yes or no?
Come on.
No, it won't be paid for by a windfall
What?
tax.
Why not?
I don't believe we
don't
can
believe
tax
in
our
it.
way to growth. And
She's gonna get
what
called
I
so
want
many
to
times. I can't
see
believe we can
is
tax
I
our way
want
to
to
growth.
see us using
Isn't
more
about
of our
growth.
UK
There's a fucking
energy
crisis
supply,
on, and you're
including
talking about
more
economic
oil and
growth
gas
10
from
years
the
down the
North
fucking
Sea.
line, you
And
daft
nuclear.
bint.
And
Fuck
nuclear
me.
power in Scotland
Are you
as
really
well.
that
And I
stupid?
hope I can count on the SNP's
Oh,
support
she is.
for that.
She is. We know she is that stupid.
Well, thank you.
Fucking
Thank you,
mate,
Mr. Speaker.
get out. Get out while you can.
On her first full day as Prime Minister, she has failed to rule out.
Shh, let's hear the next question. Ian Blackford.
The Prime Minister may have changed, Mr. Speaker, but it's the same old being shouted down by the Tories. On her first full day as Prime Minister, she's failed to rule out a trust tax on household and businesses, instead of targeting the profits of massive corporations with a windfall tax. The Prime Minister's plan appears to be a decade-long raid on the bank accounts of ordinary taxpayers. These costs must not be passed on to consumers and businesses by deferring bills. Government must announce an enhanced windfall profits tax, making sure that those oil and gas producers pay their fair share from excess profits. Does the Prime Minister understand
she says like
that
it's
her
no
first
new
act as
taxes,
Prime
that
Minister
taxes
will now define her?
she's
A
taxing
trust
the
tax
poor.
that household and businesses will be paying for years to come.
Trust tax. Coin that. Hashtag
Well, I'm not quite sure what
tax.
the right honourable gentleman's position is, because on one hand, he doesn't seem to want oil and gas extraction from the North Sea, and on the other hand, he wants them to pay more taxes. Why does he make up his mind?
What? That makes no sense whatsoever. They already are making 170 billion pounds of profit. Tax the stupid twats. Oh God, look, this fucking walking abortion.
And E.ON, just three of many energy suppliers that say they provide 100% renewable electricity.
Oh God, we're going to have a go at renewables
constituents
now.
of mine in West Dorset are baffled that the energy regulator allows those prices to rise on par with oil and gas.
Yes, oil and gas.
Would
This
my
is the
right
problem.
honourable friend confirm that she
Let's
is on the
uncouple
side of the consumer in her
renewables.
energy policy that we'll hear from
Let's
tomorrow?
uncouple renewables from the price of oil and gas.
Well,
Come on.
I certainly am on the side of consumer, and
No,
we
you're
need
not.
to make sure
You're on the side of the millionaires,
that we
mate.
deal with all
She's
of
worth
the
12 million,
issues
apparently.
in the
So,
energy market and the way that energy
Taxes
is
are for the
regulated.
little people.
And I will certainly be saying more about this tomorrow.
Those truth, integrity, friendship.
The Prime Minister should know by now that many people in the north of Ireland are starving and freezing in their homes. We need a tailored solution for Northern Ireland, but that's much harder to achieve because the DUP are refusing to form a government at Stormont. The new Prime Minister has a choice to make. She can either be on the side of the DUP or on the side of struggling people in Northern Ireland. So whose side is she on?
Millionaires, mate.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I want
Millionaires,
to work
always.
with all of the parties.
I want to work with the
in
millionaires.
Northern Ireland to get
And the
the
billionaires.
executive and
I want to work with
the Assembly
Amazon
back
and
up
with Shell,
running so we can
so they make
collectively
enough money
deliver for the
that
people
they can
of
swim in
Northern
golden
Ireland.
coins
but in
like
order
Scrooge
to do that,
McDuck.
we do need to fix the issues of the Northern
Scrooge
Ireland
McFuck
Protocol,
over here.
which has damaged the balance between the communities in Northern Ireland. I'm determined to get on with doing that, and I'm determined to work with all
Determined, you sound
parties
really
to
determined. You
find
sound
that
like you're
resolution.
fucking half asleep! You useless fucking arsewipe.
May I congratulate my right honourable friend and welcome her to
Theresa
her
May, isn't
position
it?
as the third
Fucking Prime Minister.
Can I ask my right honourable
Fourth
friend,
Prime Minister in 6
why
years.
does she think it is that all three female Prime Ministers have been Conservative?
You know there's more female Labour MPs than there are male MPs in the Labour Party.
Well, I
And the
thank
Tory
my
party is
right
about a quarter of the
honourable
party.
friend
female.
for her fantastic question. I look forward to calling on her advice.
Well, you know, it's a
from her
percentage
time in
game,
office
mate.
as
You've
I
had so
start-
many Prime
as
Ministers
I
in the last
start my
few
work-
years.
As I start my work
You've had more
as
Prime Ministers in the
Minister,
last
it is-
6 years
it is quite
than Labour have
extraordinary,
had
isn't it, that
in the
there
last
doesn't
50.
seem to be the ability in the Labour Party to find a female leader, or
60
indeed
actually.
a leader who doesn't
Heath
come
Callaghan.
from North London.
Not Heath, fucking
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Wilson.
I don't
No.
know what the issue is.
Yeah, Wilson, Callaghan, Blair and Brown. So 4, yeah,
Thank
since
you, Mr.
1964.
Speaker. Can I also congratulate the Prime
yeah?
Minister on her
60
appointment?
years.
Mr. Speaker, inflation is at a 40-year high. The NHS is on its knees with 6.6 million people waiting for treatment. Thousands of victims of sexual offences and violent crime
Congratulations
are
to Tuesday
waiting
for
for
being a woman.
justice.
Well done.
Not to mention passport
For
delays,
not being
the
a
summer
brown
of
man.
chaos in our airports and our beaches covered in sewage.
Shit.
The Prime Minister has served in every every one of the Conservative governments responsible for this mess. So why should the British public trust her to clean up the mess that she's helped create?
Yeah.
I'm determined that we deal with the issues that we deliver the issues that we deliver, and we're going to deliver an energy supply
that you caused. What? No. A tiny fraction of our gas comes from Russia. It's caused by you and your shitty fucking policies.
Will take immediate action to reduce taxes
How come energy bills in
economy.
France have only gone up 4%?
And our new health secretary, who is also
4%?
the deputy prime minister, will be taking immediate action to make sure people
that all the pies are
appointments
eaten.
with their GP and proper NHS services.
Pardon the House, Sir Peter Bottomley.
All sides of the House should wish to help the Prime Minister be successful in tackling the problems facing the country. When I raised one of them with the former Prime Minister in July, he said I could talk to the Housing Minister, but the Housing Minister retired after 17 minutes of hearing that. Can I ask the Prime Minister to look to see why the Planning Inspectorate are able to overturn Council's planned protections for green lungs, and will she look at what's happening to the Goring Gap, the A259 in Worthing West and in South Downs constituency, because local councils have no role if they can't protect what matters most to them.
I have no idea what that question was or what it was about.
Well, I am a bit concerned about offering the honourable gentleman a meeting with the Housing Minister in case any ill should befall him. But look, my honourable friend is right.
You're right, Duke.
There is not enough power in local hands at the moment. It is too easy for local councils to be overruled
Truss's
by the planning
ex-boyfriend seems very happy with his
and
new
that
job.
is certainly an issue that
Head
I'm
bit on the side.
expecting
Her paramour.
my Secretary of State for Housing to look at.
Hannah Bardell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. According to the Prime Minister's new Deputy Prime Minister, one of the things that qualified her most for being PM and was one of her greatest achievements was the reintroduction of beavers. Now, I'm all for the beavers, but given her flip-flopping on Brexit and given her inability to understand global affairs, how can constituents like mine, like Waz Abbas, whose energy prices are going to go from £7,000 to £37,000 a year, or Broadtext in Livingston, who are going to go from £50,000 to £250,000 a month, have any faith that she can tackle the oncoming humanitarian crisis? Is she going to come out of her den in number 10 and take real action, or is she going to be as useless and corrupt as her predecessor, who's rocketed off to somewhere in the Pacific?
Useless and corrupt. Yes!
I am determined to tackle
Useless
the
and
issues we
corrupt.
face in
Boris
energy, and I
Johnson.
look forward to the Scottish Government playing their
Nice
part
beaver.
by building
Thanks.
new
I just had
nuclear
it
power
stuffed.
stations.
Naked gun.
Can I just say, I want a nice apology. That was not a good example. I certainly don't want the use corrupt being used against the new
He was. He was corrupt. He was corrupt. Fucking was, mate.
I'm sure
He's always telling the Tories to shut up.
Just withdraw the comment.
Sometimes the truth hurts, but I'm happy to withdraw.
Good on you.
Right. Victoria Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I warmly congratulate my right honourable friend?
I would have
May
doubled down.
welcome
I
her
would have
to
said
her
he's corrupt and a
place.
liar.
But may I also
Oh my
wish
God!
her the very best.
There's a ghost in the house! There's a ghost in the House of Parliament! Oh my God! This poor woman. She's been haunting the House of Parliament for hundreds of years in her nightgown with a candle.
And to cook their meals.
What?
They have faced price rises of around 130% in recent months, and they are not part of the energy price cap. As rumours abound about what tomorrow's statement may hold, will my right honourable friend confirm that those 1.5 million households, many of them
Why is she
in
come?
rural
Why
areas
is she
such as my own
come to Parliament
constituency,
dressed
will be
in a
specifically
Victorian
included
nightgown?
in any
She's
mooted
fucking
ideas
freaky.
about an energy price freeze?
Well,
She asking about the
my
energy
honourable
price freeze.
friend is right, and many of my
Wasn't really
constituents
listening. Too busy laughing at her.
rely on heating oil for their fuel, and we need to make sure that we are looking after everybody in this very, very difficult winter that we're facing.
The lights are on, but no one's home.
Mr. Speaker, members may be familiar with the work of Bowness firm Ballantyne's Castings, an iron foundry in operation since the
Bollock time
1820s,
castings, more
which
like.
in recent years has done much
Emily
work around the
Bronte.
parliamentary
Miss
stage.
Faversham.
Without the protection
Is that
of
the
an
one who
energy
was in her
price
wedding
cap,
dress?
This specialist SME is witnessing
Haunting
unaffordable
the
costs,
house,
with
the
bills
towers.
rising from 13,000 to 120,000 per month. Heavy energy users face a disproportionate burden and clearly need more support than other businesses.
Yes.
What will the PM do to protect our strategically
Nothing.
important and
Nothing.
energy-intensive
She's already said she's not going to do anything. She's literally going to tax them more, make everyone
very
spend loads of
strongly
money on
agree
their
with the
energy
honourable
bills,
gentleman
and
that
she's
there
not going to
are
put any windfall
strategic
taxes
industries that we
on the
need to
energy
make
companies
sure
that are making
we use a lot of
170
energy.
billion
You know, we need to do
pounds
what we can
a
to help them
year.
become more
A
energy
year.
efficient, But we also need to make sure that they're able to
Or at least they're
remain
going to.
competitive in the global marketplace, and that is certainly
She's going to get $1
something
billion of that.
the energy sector
She's
is
going to
looking
be given
at
$1 billion of
in
that, and then she's
preparing
going to
this package.
fuck off on holiday for the rest of her life.
Dr. Kieran,
Horrible little twat.
Can I congratulate the Prime Minister on her appointment and tell her I know my constituents want her to succeed at
Oh my
difficult
God!
times. Outside of the immediate challenges of energy and
Is this like when
inflation,
Crichton
levelling
becomes
up
human?
remains a priority for them. One way to demonstrate her commitment to levelling up would be to choose a town like
It
Crewe
looks like
to host Great British
Nosferatu.
Railways.
Nosferatu played football for Leeds.
Can she ensure that levelling up is at the heart of that decision?
Levelling up, levelling up,
Well,
levelling up.
Crewe
Ooh,
is,
here's some
of
more
course,
bullshit
a
for
great
you.
railway town.
We're going to
My
level
honourable friend is
up
absolutely
by
right.
making poor
I'm not
people
gonna
poorer than
prejudge
ever
the decision
before
that will be
and
made,
enriching
but
my
what I
rich
will be
friends.
doing as Prime Minister is absolutely focusing on levelling up and making
Levelling
sure we're
up?
attracting
No, giving
the
money to your
investment
fucking
and
crony
growth
mates.
into parts of this country
Same old
that have been
Tories.
left behind, so
Same
they
old
have their
Tories.
fair share
I'm going
of
to save you
opportunity.
from all the problems that we've
Mr.
caused.
Speaker, the new Prime Minister is now finally in post. But make no mistake, she does not have the support of the British public. She can't even rely on the backing of her own MPs. And people in Pontypridd will never forget that she played a key role in a government that failed millions.
Yes.
So will she now finally do the right and decent thing and call a general election?
Yes! Call a general election, you fucking coward! Go on, you fucking pube. Go on, you worthless sod. Go on. Call a general election, you fucking coward. As a
We are
cunt.
facing
As a cunt.
a very serious
Oh yeah, you
crisis
fucking
in
arse.
energy
Fucking
caused by
shitty
Putin's
bastard
war in
fucking
Ukraine.
cunt arse.
We are facing.
Hold on. One of the members for Stoke is getting very carried away. And I know as a former teacher who wanted to show
Oh
better
god, that's
behaviour
going to be
than
that
showing at the
fucking
moment.
brain
Come on, Prime Minister.
fucking cunt, innit?
We are facing very serious
Stoke
issues as a
MP.
country.
Forgot his name. Forgot his name.
Partly as a
Bob
result
Shite.
of the aftermath of COVID, partly as a result
Levelling
of
up north
Putin's
means
war in
dismantling Big
Ukraine.
Bad Brick, yeah.
What the British people want
Saying
is
they're going to
they
make
want
a
government that's
railway
gonna
and then
sort
not
it out.
making it.
And that is what I'm determined to do as Prime Minister.
Fuck off.
Sort out the energy crisis, get our
lunatic.
economy going,
Energy crisis.
make sure people can get
Yeah.
doctor's appointments.
Yeah,
That's
you're not
going to
do any of this. You're not going to do any of that stuff. You're just going to make money for your
I would
mates.
like to congratulate my honourable friend for
Bojo in a dress.
Prime Minister, but I'd also
That was
like to
charismatic.
thank her for the support of my campaign to keep Doncaster
What's this
Sheffield
thing?
Airport open.
What's this thing here, hanging down from the top of the screen?
Now help further right into South
Freaky,
Yorkshire
that.
Mayor Oliver Coppard
Hello.
and Peel Holdings Chairman
I'm
John
not a
Whittaker to remind them of their
conservative.
powers, duties
I
and
did that.
responsibilities to the people
He
of
doesn't
South
sound like a
Yorkshire
conservative,
and
does he?
beyond. And we'll
If you
see
met
with the
him
full
in the
weight
street,
of
you wouldn't know he was a
office on these
conservative, would you?
decision makers so as to keep our Doncaster Sheffield Airport open.
He's going to lose his election.
Well,
He's going to lose his seat
regional
in the next
airports,
election.
including the Doncaster Sheffield Airport, are a vital part of our economic
A new Iron Lady is
And
born.
what I will make sure is that the new Transport Secretary
I
is
may need to leave. I'm
immediately
struggling to
onto
listen to this.
this
Sorry,
issue.
Duke. I try and make it more
I
entertaining
know
by
she is,
calling
I
them
can tell.
cunts over the
Look,
top, but
she's already contacting.
you know,
She's
this
already
guy's
contacting the people in Doncaster.
there's
and
my
Sheffield
twat
to
of an
make
MP
sure
behind him.
We do protect this airport, and we protect those.
Got to protect
that
the
vital
airports!
infrastructure and
Vital
connectivity
airports!
that helps
Yeah, we're
our
not going to
economy
protect
grow.
our beaches from our shit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And
protect
I'd
the
also like
airports.
to welcome the Prime Minister to her new
Save
post.
the airports!
During her leadership campaign, she said that waiting times for ambulances in her rural Norfolk constituency were appalling. And in North Shropshire, I think many of my constituents would agree with that statement.
What you gonna do
Across
about it?
Britain, waiting hours and hours for an ambulance has become normal. But instead
Liz
of focusing
Truss
on this
has got
problem,
no
a
chin.
leadership
She's got no
fiasco in the
chin. She's got
Conservatives
no
have seen
chin.
3 health secretaries in
You're
3
doing your
months.
best.
Will the Prime Minister get a
More
grip
like
on
Pig
this
Iron Lady.
grave
Oh, I like that.
situation
I like
and
that.
commission the
Duke,
CQC
the
into
Pig Iron
investigating the
Lady.
causes of and solutions to
Hopefully
the
that'll
ambulance
stick.
services
I like
delays
thick
that
Lizzie
before
as well.
A service in crisis faces the additional pressures of an oncoming winter.
Yeah, come on, what are you going to do about the NHS?
People should
Fucking
not
lemon.
have to wait as long as they are for ambulance services.
Oh,
and my
okay,
new health
yes.
secretary is immediately
Yes.
tackling this issue.
Are you?
She's already laid out her priorities, and sorting
Has she?
out the ambulance service is one of
You're just
them.
not going to tell anyone? Okay.
Speaker, can I also very warmly welcome our new Prime Minister to her role and indeed the whole of her front bench. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and as she knows, cancer is still the biggest.
Oh, they always do this.
14. So I wonder
So
if
they put all these questions in advance, and what the Tories will do every fucking time is they'll bring up stuff like children dying, cancer. Even better, children dying of cancer in order to score a political point. Do you know what I mean? These are children,
when children,
children who are dying, being used by the Conservative Party to try and show that they are compassionate in some way. They always fucking do this. They don't give a fuck. They do not give a fuck about anyone in this country except themselves and their rich mates.
She will know
Fucking
from her
funders.
time as Children's Minister that young lungs exposed to cold and damp housing
Yes.
are more likely to fall seriously ill
Yes.
and possibly die. Now, child poverty has been growing during her ministerial time in her different offices. Will she give a solemn pledge and no evasion that there will be no child that will go to bed in a cold, damp house this winter and beyond because
Yeah.
the parents cannot afford
Yeah.
to put the heating on?
Yeah.
But this is
Thank
why
you for
it's so
being Fred
important
Dinnich's
that we
daughter.
do tackle
Jesus Christ.
the issue of energy, and I will
Yeah.
make sure that people are able to afford their energy bills at the same time as dealing with the long-term supply issues to make sure that we
Say it
are
now.
resilient.
Say it
in
now.
energy
If one
and never
person in this
getting
country cannot afford their energy bills, this cunt's a fucking liar. She's just lied to Parliament. She's just misled Parliament, saying she would do something that she's not prepared to fucking do.
They play for time and wait for a new
Yeah,
leader
Dirty Jokes
who they
fan.
hope will
I
have a
agree.
different
It
view
is a relief
to
not to
their
have to
predecessor.
hear Bojo's very
For the sake-
irritating voice.
for the
I
sake
found
of
Corbyn's
clarity,
voice really
would my
irritating as
right
well. So
honourable
when those two
friends
were doing PMQs,
confirm
I
that it is
couldn't.
the
I
UK's
just couldn't.
preferred option to have a negotiated settlement as far as the Northern Ireland Protocol is concerned. But if
God,
that
going
is
back
not
to
forthcoming, then we will
Back to
proceed
Brexit.
with the protocol bill that is
We're
currently
going to
going
go
through
and
Parliament.
break international law.
Well, first of all, can I
It's going
thank
to
my
be
right honourable
really
friend
good
for
for our
his
trade
service
imbalance.
as Northern Ireland Secretary. He is
Dickhead.
absolutely right.
Fucking arsehole.
We need to
He's
resolve
absolutely
the issue
fucking
of
dickhead.
the Northern Ireland Protocol. My preference
Resolve
is for a
the
negotiated
protocol that
solution,
we
but it does
agreed
have
to.
deliver all of
You
the
agreed
things we
to the
set out in the Northern
protocol.
Ireland
You
Protocol
signed
bill.
the protocol. When you were offered more
is for
time
this
to
situation
consider
to
the
drift,
protocol,
because my
your
number
stupid
one
cunt
priority
party
is
turned down the
protecting the
opportunity,
supremacy
saying it had
of the
already been
Belfast
discussed
Good Friday
enough.
Agreement.
Fucking assholes. Every single one of those cunts on that side of the house.
Tells us she will
Cunts.
deliver on the NHS. Well, that's a turn up for the books, because after 12 years of Conservatives
Yep.
driving our NHS into the ground,
Yes.
we have
Just an Amazon Canary in the coal mine, yeah.
people dying in ambulances outside A&E, and nurses using food banks. So given the Prime Minister has served in the past 3 Conservative governments on that watch, can she explain why we should trust her to deliver?
Yep.
I mean, I don't agree with the way she is talking down our national
So
health
that's a good
service.
idea.
The
Can't watch
fact
it live
is that
though.
our health service
Has been wound down by you
in
cunts.
tackling COVID, in
Where's our 40 new
delivering
hospitals,
vaccine
fuckface?
rollout, and in getting
Where's our 40
this
new
country
hospitals?
back on its feet? But we do face challenges now with the backlog following COVID, and this is why the new health secretary is going to work to address those challenges.
Where's your chin? Where's your chin, Liz?
Congratulate my right honourable friend on her appointment and
not your
recognise
friend,
her
mate.
determination to address
She
the
wouldn't
many
piss on you
urgent and
unless you were on
difficult
fire, and
challenges
she
that
could
face
piss
us now.
gasoline.
But would she accept that one of those challenges is an almost entirely unregulated online space? And would she accept too that no responsible government can avoid the need for excellent, balanced, sensible regulation in this space, And would she therefore assure me that the online safety bill will come back to this House swiftly for us to consider further and amend if necessary?
Well, I can assure my honourable friend that we will be proceeding with the online safety bill. There are some issues that we need to deal with. What I want to make sure is that we protect the under-18s from harm, but we also make sure free speech is allowed, so there may be some tweaks required, but certainly as well that we need to protect people's safety online.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister has been part of a government for the past 12 years, which has been systematically letting down the most vulnerable children in the country. The independent review of children's social care, published by the government in May, describes the system as in need of a total reset. The Prime Minister has said she wants to deliver. Will she make a cast-iron commitment to deliver for our country's most vulnerable children and publish the government's response to the independent review and an action plan for delivery before the end of the year? Yes or no?
Can individuals challenge their rights being taken away?
Yes.
I don't know. Oh, what a useless fucking answer.
I would like to congratulate my right honourable friend and her whole front bench and wish them every success in the new government. I'd particularly like to thank my right honourable friend for her steadfast commitment to support for the earliest years. Throughout the 12 years that she and I have worked together for 3 previous Prime Ministers. So can I ask her now to renew her commitment to rolling out the best start for life to give every baby the best chance at
strong and stable Tories.
My right honourable friend has done such a fantastic job championing this issue, developing the policies.
Hey, Nico, how you doing, mate? Hi all, hi Graham.
And delivering
Mad Monk, what a load of bullshit from this new but old criminal cabal known, better known as the Tory government.
Is the best way to help those children have a successful childhood
backwash.
and ultimately a fulfilled
life. Backwash!
That ends PMQs.
Hey! Thank fuck for that. Right, that's your lot. I'm going to cut the sound on that so it doesn't annoy us anymore. And you can watch the people leaving behind me. And I'm going to go big. That was cool, wasn't it? Did you like that? Did you like how I went big? I've gone a bit too big. It's never been a problem before. I'll go a bit smaller. I'll do a bit smaller. There you go. And then I will seamlessly... watch how seamless this is done, okay? I want you to watch this. I'm going to seamlessly fade the background out. Whoa! Yes! Finally, after fucking 2 years of doing this, I'm finally getting the hang of it. Anyway, so, yes. Hello and welcome to Prime Minister's Questions. Not safe for work. Prime Minister's Questions with Graham Hughes. It is Wednesday, the 7th of September, 2022. Thank you all for your messages so far, and thank you all for the super chats that have come in. And thank you to Richard, who's dropped 20 quid in the hat by other means, which are out there, including Patreon, if you're feeling fruity, or you can head over to the UK for UKR site and put money in for that so we can afford to go on another trip to Ukraine before Christmas, which unfortunately we haven't got enough money to do yet, but we're working on it. Talking about having money to do things, I'm going to London on Saturday. I'm actually taking the megabus, the overnight megabus, down to London, so I'll be arriving there nice and early in the morning. If anyone is in London on Saturday, I'm going to be there all day before I get the overnight megabus back home in the evening. So, if you want to meet up, we're going to be in Hyde Park, I think, at 12 o'clock. We're doing a Rejoin EU thing. I haven't actually looked it up. It might not actually be in Hyde Park. I'm sorry if I'm giving you duff information here. I'm going to be in central London. So if anyone wants to meet up and have a drink, I would welcome that. Although, I've got to tell you now, I'm absolutely fucking skint, which is why I'm taking the megabus. So I'm going to be getting too many rounds in London because the price of beer there is outrageous. I once went for a beer with a guy in Liverpool, and after he went to the bar, and he came back with all these beers, and he had almost tears in his eyes. And I was like, what? And he was like, this costs less than a tenner. And I'm like, yes, welcome to Liverpool. And he's like, this is just not normal for me. Anyway, God, it's depressing when you can't afford enough money to drink. in this country anymore. Let alone drink fucking petrol, fuel, alcohol, oil, gas, whatever tickles your fancy. It's all gone very, very expensive. And as Duke Ventures is pointing out, the dollar is going to overtake the pound at this rate. Well, yes, the last I checked, the pound was down to just worth $1.15. $1.15. Down from a high of just 10 years ago. It was around $1.80. So one of your pounds bought $1.80. Now it buys $1.15. That's what 12 years of Tory government will do. And they go, oh, but the euro's not doing well. The euro's not doing... And you're like, actually, the euro compared with the pound, the euro's doing actually better to the pound. You know, it's not doing so well against the dollar because the dollar is very strong at the moment. But it's about £1.15 to the fucking euro as well, which is down what it used to be worth. And that's just it's going to be 1-to-1 very, very soon by the looks of things, especially with this absolute dickhead Liz Truss in charge. She's such an idiot. She's so fucking thick. It's painful. Absolutely painful. Number 3 says noon at Hyde Park. Richard, I will be there. I haven't made a sign yet. I need a funny sign to take with me. Phil says most of her answers were confrontational and deliberately antagonistic. She's actually somehow less subtle than Johnson, unbelievably. I don't think this approach will endear her to the public. I don't think she's going to endear herself. This is a point that I've made time and time again on Hughes at 10, on Hughes Round, on NSFW, PMQs. I've said that Boris Johnson, we need to get rid of him because if he goes, whoever replaces him will be useless, but whoever replaces him cannot survive off their personality. They have to rely on their policy and the outcome of their decisions alone. And that's where all of them are fucked because they have fucked this country from top to bottom, left to right, east to west. They have fucked this country. Bastards. Super chat from Lee Corn. Thank you very much, Lee. £10. Have half a pint of flat southern beer on me. Cheers, Lee. There was one time I was in Manchester, in Levy, in Levenshulme, and we went to the Bluebell, which is a really lovely pub in Levenshulme. And I think it was my then girlfriend's dad got us, and he was from down south, and he got us like not just a round, but like food in as well. And he had change of 20 quid, and he was like, "What?" Just does not compute. But yeah, if you're struggling with the cost of living and you can move up north, I would really suggest. Politics isn't the $1 for €1. No, it's $1.15, I think. Che Guevara's hamster. Within 20 years, a British government will peg the pound to the euro. They will have to. I think that's what they should have done years ago. Honestly, people get to keep their pounds and get to keep the Queen, little picture of the Queen in their pocket, little pictures of the Queen in their wallet, so they can take it out and go, oh, the Queen, oh, the Queen, and that's great, but it's worth €1. This is what they do in other countries, like the CFA, the safer franc in Central and West Africa. There's two different safers. There's the West African safer, and there's the Central African safer, and it's pegged to the euro. So you don't get runaway inflation because it's pegged to the euro. And there's other countries like Panama that have the Balboa, but it's pegged to the dollar. So you can use dollars and you can use Balboas interchangeably. It's fucking great. Anyway, I'm getting several right-wingers in my Twitter feed. Nutters, irrational, says number 3. Block them. Block them, Richard. Just block the cunts on sight. Proactively block people on Twitter because then they can't report you. What these cunts do is they wind you up. They get you to say something like, I hope you die, you motherfucker, or something like that because you're so pissed off at the bullshit they're coming out with. And then they go, ha, got you. And then they report you to Twitter for saying that you hope they die. And then you get banned for 12 hours or 24 hours or a week. Just don't do it. Don't fall into the trap. Just block the fuckers. Anyway, why does Kent Media ever give one view? I don't know. Yeah. If I've missed any super chats, by the way, can you let me know because they don't come up very big on my screen. I don't want to upset anyone. Did PMQs finish a bit early this week? Did it seem to finish a bit early? It's only 1:45. I'm sure it goes on longer than that. Well, it used to. Anyway. Perhaps the trust bot needed recharging. She needs plugging in. One of those things, where you think that she's been plugged in overnight and you wake up in the morning and she's down to 2% and you're like, shit, it wasn't plugged in. But British politics are promise and feeling based, not outcome based of late. That's a very good point, Pineapple Boy. Well made. I know Levenshulme, lots of genuine Irish pubs. It's a great little place, and there's a great little market there, Levenshulme Market. I think it's on Saturdays, which is well worth a visit. No, they should have grown at pair and said it was unachievable in 2019. I want to challenge them, says number 3, to a duel, I hope. Duke says, don't argue with them because the free speech loving twats will report you for no reason. Indeed, just block them. Just block them. And especially if they've only started their account like 2 weeks ago and their account name is Chris94962dinef and they've got no followers. Just block them on sight. They're just trolls. It's usually 40 minutes, says John Barleycorn. Okay. All right, John. Sorry. Another £20 so that you can buy me a drink, says number 3. Thank you very much, sir. You are a gentleman. I will buy you a drink if I see you in London. Well, I will see you in London. We've already kind of arranged that. But yes, indeed, we are going to the big smoke for a Rejoin EU march. Now, let's just explain some things. Which you're smart people. I've already said this a million times. Right? We're not going to suddenly rejoin the EU tomorrow. It's not going to happen. However, there are certain reasons why it's a good idea to have a march. Not just because people go, no, but don't have a march, because if you have a march, what's going to happen is that people will see it and there's only going to be 1,000 people there or 100 people there and they'll go, oh, no one cares about rejoining the EU anymore. No. We're not going to get rid of Liz Truss as Prime Minister via a march. We're not going to get rid of the Tory government via a march. We are not going to get us back into the EU via a march. What is important is that we show there are still a sizable number of people who want us to rejoin the EU, so other people see that and go, oh, there's still people who want to rejoin the EU after all that. Obviously, because it's gone terribly and our entire British Isles are ringed with human feces and used condoms and piss. And our economy is in the toilet, ironically, and our inflation is going through the fucking roof. They reckon it might be up to 18 or even 22% next year. 22% inflation, for fuck's sake. Interest rates have gone up. They reckon with Liz Truss's stupid fucking plan for freezing our energy bills at £3,000 a year, which is still she can't conceive of a world in which that is a fuckload of money, where that is a quarter of all you earn in a year going on your fucking energy bills, and you've got to pay your rent, which is usually about a third of what you fucking earn in a year. Back in Grandad's day, it was about 9% of what you earned in a year you paid on rent. Unscrupulous landlords, Thatcher changed the rules, so now you're fucked if your private landlord wants you out. I don't know. I like the diversity. It's a win for people with brain injuries, says Silor. Well, I heard today that only 8 of the cabinet are state educated, and 23 of the cabinet, including the people in the top posts like Suella Braverman and Kwasi Kwarteng and the other one, they're all privately educated. All privately fucking educated. Fucking cunts. Yeah, so, the racism's over. The days of apartheid are over. The racial discrimination is over. So long as you're born rich. So long as your daddy's got a bit of wodge, you too can be a Tory. A top Tory at that. Clive Warburton described Truss as a free market economist. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she's not an economist at all, is she? More misinformation by BBC presenters. It wouldn't surprise me. A lot of the BBC are fucking idiots, which is painful, because as Ian Hislop said, there's so much good stuff on the BBC. There's such amazing stuff, and it's being dragged down by BBC News, which is dominated by Tories, and you've got people on the BBC board who are Tories, like Tory donors and people who have done very well at the Conservative Party, and they've been placed in the BBC to just fuck things up. Super chat, thank you very much, £2. Not much, but could buy you a shandy, says Phil. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Phil, for that £2 there. Does Truss have an economics degree? Perhaps. I don't know. I've got a politics degree. I'd be a bit pissed off if someone called me a politician. Well, it's politics and history. So if someone said, historian Graham Hughes today said, I'd be like, well, I'm not really a historian. I mean, probably know a bit more than most, but Doesn't make me an expert. Anyway, I have a decent pension, but even I am getting concerned, says Richard. Yeah, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you for being concerned. It's fucking terrifying. It is fucking terrifying. It might come to a point where I do have to sack this stuff off and actually do the thing I've been putting off my entire life and get a proper job. Put my talents to good use at Starbucks or behind a bar. Actually, I've done that before, working behind a bar for 4 years, actually, in Manchester. So, yeah, at least I know I can do it. Mixing cocktails. I used to do that in Bocas when I lived in Bocas del Toro. I used to work at a bar once a week. Didn't get paid for it. I think it cost me more in fuel to get to the bar than I actually made. But I got a free pizza out of it, so, free pizza. But yeah, I wasn't very good at mixing cocktails. Everyone thinks, I'll get some cocktails, I'll be like Tom Cruise in the movie Cocktail. And you're not. If you can do that flipping stuff, that's fantastic. But you know what? There's people waiting to get served, and you're flipping this stuff around, and you're taking ages to make fucking drink. You're mixing a fucking cake, putting it in the oven, and everyone's waiting. God, all I want is a fucking pint. I want one of those bottles there. Can you just go over? Can you have a 2-tier bar? We have the cocktails at one end where they can faff around and you can wait for half an hour for your fucking drink. And then at the other end of the bar, you can have people just, I just want that bottle. Just 2 of them. Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks. There you go. There's the money. Beep me phone. Beep. Right. Anyway, PB, I think Tories love the free market. In 2010, I had a thriving small business with 2 employees. In 2022, I worked 50 to 60 hours a week for someone else. That's from Sheikh Avava's hamster. Is it Sheikh Avava that you work for? No, I'm joking. I know. But the Tories don't give a fuck. In fact, Boris Johnson said out loud, you're not supposed to say out loud, fuck business. And by that he meant fuck British business. Because he hasn't fucked over American business. They're doing all right. Amazon's doing all right. Starbucks is doing all right. McDonald's is doing all right. British business though, fuck me. Asperger says, there is an interesting and useful article in the New European Today listing all the various options for obtaining visas for residence and employment in EU countries. Digital nomad visas are very popular. That could be quite good. League says, just reminded me, I think my Patreon payment has failed as my card expired. I'll sort it today. Oh, thanks, Lee. I might have got one of those messages, because you get messages on Patreon. It says, such and such has stopped being your Patreon. And you're like, oh. I mean, it's fair enough. I didn't make a video for 6 weeks, but, it's still a bit... okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Adam says, pretty much a year since you went back to Ginger, right? Any chance of a progress update someday in the unlikely event you ever have time? Says Adam. Yes, I would actually like to do a sort of back to Ginger kind of thing with Marcus, where we can talk about our experiences on the island, what went down there and stuff. I might try and get some footage together so we can play it as we're talking. But that'd be good. I might pre-record it. I don't know. And then I can obviously slot in what we're talking about as we're talking about it. I can't really do that live. I could try, but it'd be quite difficult. But yeah, I'll sort that out. Marcus, if you're watching, call me, baby, call me. Actually, I'll just text you after this. Pineapple wave. Oh, okay. Lee Corn's waving to Pineapple Boy. I thought he was just shouting pineapple. Other people just shouting out random fruits. On the chat there, got very, very confused. Duke Vengeance says, Tory Lord Sir Robbie Gibb, brother of Conservative MP Nick Gibb, on board of the BBC. Well, there you go. Indeed. So, yes, I will... what time is it now? I've got another 5 minutes with you before I disappear. So if anyone wants to throw a super chat in, to keep me going, keep me warm in the winter... It might come to a point where it's actually cheaper to burn £5 notes than it is to turn the heating on. But yeah, if anyone wants to throw stuff in, that's great. Raspberry, says John Barleycorn. Bananas, nuts, says number 3. Oh, now everyone's shouting fruit at me now. Stay safe, says just me and Vids. I think Pineapple's got off. I must have missed Pineapple's message where he said, I'm leaving forever. But if you're still there, Pineapple Boy. Oh shit. Don't hit the fucking mic, Graham. Freaks people out, especially if they're wearing headphones. I'm very sorry. Anyway, so yes, new Prime Minister, new PM, and she's fucking useless. She's an idiot. So there's a lot of things to talk about this new Prime Minister, and about Boris Johnson's leaving speech, and about her entry speech. which was just really monotone and uninspiring and dreadful. It did sound like you were just being told a shopping list by Alexa. And yeah, it was just a bit painful. It really was. Good afternoon, said Jacob. Hello. Oh, got a super chat, Pineapple Boy. Thank you. Super chat, 4.49 great British pounds. Say something mean about Laura Kunsberg. Well, she's a cunt. That's what her name is, Kuntzberg. Laura Kunsberg is privately educated gobshite who appears on BBC News as this impartial purveyor of the truth when she's actually quite biased towards the Tories, giving them way warmer interviews than she really should do. And then now and again she'll throw in a hardball question to just so people go, oh yeah, no, she's quite a good interviewer because she throws in a couple of difficult questions now and again. But she, just between you and me, she probably just briefs the Tory, like, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this one. I'm going to say it's going to look like really hardball. Like, people are going to go, oh, did she really ask that? But just make sure that you've got your answer lined up. Anyway, on Laura Kuntzberg's show this week, she's got a new show on the BBC after stepping down as head of political reporting on the BBC. She's now got a new show on the BBC on Sundays, and she had a comedian, Joe Lycett, on Sunday, and he totally merrily took the piss out of all the right-wing pundits by declaring himself very right-wing and saying that he really supported Liz Truss, and that everything she said was very clear. It was very clear, and she made her statement very clearly, and he thinks she's going to do a really good job. And if a right-wing pundit had said that, people would be like, yeah, that's what they normally say. But because someone who isn't seen as right-wing said it, it was terrible. It was terrible. It actually got on the front cover of the Mail newspaper on Monday, which absolutely shat a brick over the fact that this man dare say the things that all the right-wingers have been saying for a long time, which is that up is down, black is white, and try not to get run over on a zebra crossing. Fans of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I just realised I've got a mouse now, so I can move things on my screen without having to sort of do this thing. I never like doing that because it looks like I'm about to pounce on you. But what I'm using as my mouse pad is actually the scripts, the radio scripts, the original radio scripts for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Well, there you go. She is also rumoured to have given BJ a BJ. Mate! Content warning, please! Jesus, Lee, what are you playing at? You're trying to kill me? Oh my God, I just realised that my picture disappears at this point. I need to sort that out. She's also... Can you delete that message? I don't want to look at it again. I don't want to think about it. The hole dug by my depression is starting to be filled with more aggressive emotions. Do you know what, Duke? That's probably a good thing. Channel it towards aggression. But what you want to do, right? And this is my advice. I don't know if it's worth anything to anyone. But when you get these absolute fuck nuggets on Twitter, do not engage them. Do not have a fucking big, long conversation with them. Because it'll just wind you up. It'll just annoy you that someone can be that stupid. And they always do the same fucking things. They just move the goalposts. Every time you make a valid point, they just ignore it. Or they do that other thing where they demand the evidence. They demand the evidence of everything you say. So you give them the evidence. Then they move the goalposts. And it's exhausting. So don't do that. Just call them a cunt. But make sure that you make the just put C, asterisk, right? And then block them. That's it. Then they can't report you for calling them a cunt. Because you haven't. You just call them a C, asterisk. And that could mean anything. That could mean cups or crap or cock or... I don't know any other words beginning with C. Right, she was standing in for the pig. So Silo, what? Oh my God, no! You've just said that. No, stop it, people. Come on. Let's have some decorum here at not safe for work PMQs. Let's not talk about blowjobs for BJ. And let's not talk about fucking pigs, for Christ's sake. While licensed satire may have played out well, but those of us agree with him, isn't it just another stick for the Mail, etc., to beat the BBC with? Well, I'm no doubt about that. But, I was listening to LBC this morning and I thought that James O'Brien made a pretty good point. He made a pretty good point, I fear, on his show this morning about Twitter. a lot of the establishments are very scared of Twitter because it allows people like you and me to have opinions that they can't funnel through the tabloids or through the media, which they can control. It does upset them a lot. And then you get people like James O'Brien who have got 1 million followers, which is more than the circulation of most newspapers in the country, and he gets to say what he wants and no one can stop him. Johnson's list of things he looks for in a woman. 1 woman. I was once asked at a quiz. It was a quiz. I don't know. It was a thing where you had to give an answer and everyone else had to give the same answer. So it was kind of like reverse family fortunes. And one of the questions was, what's the first thing you look for in a member of the opposite sex? And I wrote a pulse. No one else wrote that, so it didn't win. John Barleycorn says, after that allegation about Cameron, the DVLC banned the issuing of number plates ending in a pig fucker. Tory pigs are more equal than the rest. Well, we've had 4 prime ministers now. We've had the pig fucker. We've had strong and stable, and she was weak and unstable. And then we had Boris Johnson, Boris fuck business Johnson. And now we've got this fucking horrific pork markets woman. Pork markets! Oh my God! Did you see when she got her when she won and she gave a speech when she won? She just walked straight past Rishi Sunak, didn't even look at him, didn't shake his hand, just walked straight to the podium. And you thought Theresa May was robotic, and she gets to the podium and she says, "Oh, I just want to thank my predecessor Boris Johnson because he's a wonderful man, very very kind to children, or even ones that he thinks aren't his, and he did all these wonderful things, and he's respected from Kiev to Carlisle, which annoyed me because she's tried to go for a bit of alliteration there. First of all, it's Kiev, not Kiev, and secondly, Carlisle begins with a C, not a K. She should have gone Kiev to Kidderminster or Kiev to Kettlebridge or something, but no, she went for Carlisle, which was just bizarre. I suppose she couldn't use Kilkenny because that's in Ireland, and that would have been a bit insensitive. But yeah, she couldn't think of anywhere beginning with K in the country, so she just went for Carlisle instead. And then there was this like pregnant pause. She's really good at this because she doesn't know how to finish a sentence. How you finish a sentence in such situations like this is you go, and that's what I want to say about that! And then people know it's the end of the sentence, so they know to applaud. But Liz Truss is such a fucking robot. She's such an Alexa that doesn't really get intonation. So she just goes, and that is the end of that. And so you get this pregnant pause at the end of everything she says. The whole pork market speech back in the Tory Party conference in, I think, 2014 was a great example of this. She kept on going, and I'm going to open a pork market in Beijing. And then there was just silence for a couple of seconds and this pregnant pause. It's really, really painful. It's like when you're at a wedding and you have to listen to a fucking tedious best man speech and it's shite, and you have to sit there and listen to this fucking shite speech. And this guy is, Bob, he's a top bloke. We went on holiday once. He got drunk. Yeah. Go land crabs. And you kind of just like, and that pregnant pause is a hallmark of Liz Truss's shiteness, but the fact that it happened when she was talking about Boris Johnson was just fucking beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful, and no one can forget the wonderful things that Boris Johnson did. Silence. Painful. So it was like a double whammy, innit? Boris Johnson didn't do anything good. He is a pile of shite. Absolute fucking gobshite. And he didn't do any good at all. And everyone knows it. Everyone fucking knows it. Man, fuck. What a world. What a time to exist. Tory pigs are more equal than the rest. After allegation, I've read that one. Carlisle is the Russian version with a K. She didn't even kiss her husband. She kissed the chair of the 1922 committee, though. Oh, something going on there, probably. If she tried a little further down the M6 from Carlisle, she could have gone for Kendal. True. Yeah, Asperger's, I like that. He's respected from Kiev to Kendal. Somewhere in Scotland would have been a good plan because that sort of seems far away. Further away than Carlisle, obviously. She could have said Kidderminster. Packing the cabinet with the RG cronies will not mend any bridges with the divided Tory party. So chatty back. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this. Not right now because First business questions is over. But don't forget the cheese. 2/3 of our cheese is imported. That is a disgrace. Anyway, have you seen the Liz Truss parody video yet? It's a little one-dimensional, but quite funny. No, I'll have to check that out. From Pigmore to Pork Ellis. The Russian for Carlisle would be caps. No. Thanks, Asperger's. Duke Vengeance says passive skills activated. Thunderous Rampage. Controlled Demolition. Antisocial. Infinite Pierce. Put that on your business card, mate. I love it. So I'll be back tomorrow. Thursday, for a show. I'm still dicking around with the format. I want to do at least one politics show a week. So that's live and goes out to you. So on Thursday, we'll be having a chat about the new Prime Minister, about Boris Johnson, talking a little bit about what I've alluded to here in this show. And also on Saturday, I'm hoping to, after the march or the rally or whatever we're doing on Saturday, I'm hoping to meet a few friends in the pub. So I might be able to get a video camera in there and tape it and see what you people think of it when I put it online. So we're hoping to do that. Please don't do that voice. It says just me in videos. Okay, sorry. I don't know which voice it was. There was a speech by Mike Pence where he said something, pause for a pause, and there was long silence before he just gave up and carried on, says John Barleycorn. Oh, he's a fucking robot as well, though, isn't he? Shake of Ours Hamsters, on a bit further north, Kendall, it's Cockermouth. It doesn't begin with a K, but it would have made me giggle. Yeah, good old Cockermouth. I've been there. I once filmed something in Cockermouth. I actually got a friend who comes from Cockermouth, which is the first time I ever heard of it. I was like, where are you from? And he went, oh, Carlisle. And I went, oh, whereabouts? He said, Cockermouth. I was like, what? One silver lining is Patel is out. Yeah. But then Suella Braverman is in. Jesus wept. Chatty Rat said if she went further west, she could have mentioned Jeffrey Donaldson's hometown of Kilkeel. Gone further west to Killybegs, also in Ulster, but in Republic of Ireland. Yeah, actually, Republic of Ireland would have been a good place to pick somewhere, because if you think about it, sort of geographically, she's saying from the very west, the very east, although she went east to west. So maybe it should have been better to start somewhere in Britain and then gone to Kyiv. But, the first phone call she made to a foreign leader was to Vladimir Zelensky. So, I mean, I don't think she's going to change. I don't think she's going to shake up the Boris Johnson model of anything very much. A K place in Scotland could be Kirkcudbright. It could be Kirkcudbright. It could be indeed. Anyway, Kirk being Scots for church, obviously. Okay, right. So I'm gonna head off now. So thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna leave you with a list, an unupdated list of my patrons. So I don't know how many of these. I don't know how many of these patrons are actually left, but if you are left as a patron, I thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I love you very much. And if you want to become a patron, head over to patreon.com/thatgingerscouser. I'll be back tomorrow evening for another round of Hughes at 10. Although I might change the name so I can do it at any time. This is my plan. So I can just creep it up on you're like, what's going on? Why is Graham broadcasting at any other time other than Prime Minister's Questions and at 10 o'clock, which is his usual slot? I reserve the right to change the name of my show so to make it a bit more flexible. One of the big problems we had with Three Blokes in the Pub was that sometimes I couldn't get three blokes, so it was like two blokes and a woman. Sometimes it was just two blokes. Other times there was me and we weren't in a pub. We were literally in a cafe or in my back garden. So it was like, should I change the name? Yeah, I probably should change the name. Although, it's a good bit of IP that. I might bring it back. Watch this space. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And until next time, fuck the Tories. And also, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.